Hello, welcome back to my channel. Week 17 or day 17 of the Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot 2021 challenge. The question this week was, are there cards in the deck that I look for? Are they make or break cards? I've put out a whole selection of some of my decks, and you can see just from looking down that my collection of decks are varied, and I don't have, lots of one deck per se, apart from the Trionfi della Luna, because that comes in different colours, that I work with. I like them to be different. As time has progressed, I have discovered I do look for certain cards, but they don't make or break my deck really. I go for the energy of the deck, and that's more how I choose my cards. So without any kind of further ado, looking down, I've selected 4 cards, and amusingly, as I was pulling them out of the decks, I discovered that 3 of them begin with H. So there's a hint to the cards that I do like to look for. When I started out, it was always the Hermit card, I suppose, that I'd be most attracted to, because that's my astrological sign card, and the rest kind of came with time. This is, so starting in the middle, this is the deck, my first deck that I ever purchased, and this is one that I started working with and started to read tarot with. And then we go that way in order of my purchases, this way and this way. I think that's kind of the order they were purchased, but I can't tell you what order they arrived, but these ones came after this one. This deck I've just put out. Yes, I do own another version of this, and this one is newer in my collection. However, it's the same type of card. It's apart from the fact this is Radiant Wise Spirit, mine is one of the old RWS systems, so I decided to put this one in its place for this show and tell. So the first card is the Hierophant, which you can probably see from looking at what's in front of you, and not one of these is similar in appearance. So if I start with the Deviant Moon, this artwork is so quirky and amazing. See if it'll focus. No, because I've got too much down below. Okay, but you can see what's going on here. I just love the colours, the difference, the fact that these weren't really people. It's quite dreamscapey. The chessboard, especially, that kind of chessboard player piece going on in the bottom. So that was one of my first introductions to the Hierophant. This was, I think, my 3rd deck that I purchased, and this Hierophant really is, completely different to everything we know. He has some of the old-fashioned symbols on him. However, he's completely epitomizing a different form of teaching, a different form of, instruction, and that's what I like about him. So this was my kind of introduction to not being the archetypal, like this one, which is in all the kind of teaching books. So this dude it all feels a bit religious and a bit structured and a bit, like you can't say no, or you have to ask for forgiveness if you do something wrong. So this is, your standard looking Hierophant. Here in the Hush Tarot, the Hush Tarot is far more, it's animals and masks and a few people really, and that's what I like about this one. I just like the fact, it's still got its key symbols in there, which are in the Hierophant cards quite often. Saying that, though, it was never I never spotted it in the Deviant Moon card. But yeah, you've got your key symbols. It tells you what you're looking at, really. And there's probably other symbols in there hidden if you want to use them. But I like the kind of moodiness with this card that it brings through. So going this way, we have a Dame Darcy, the Mermaid Tarot. So here we have a Hierophant in a very different format. It's a bit more feminine. If this time everyone's facing us, they're not facing away, and they're being, there's a kind of like doctrined system going on behind them, but it definitely looks more fun and not quite so structured. The Guardian Tarot, to be fair, this seems to be a system within its own system for me. But I'm loving working with this. I've been working with it for the last month, and I don't know, I'll probably carry on for a bit because I just like the artwork. It's growing on me. It's been a surprise grower. I wasn't sure what to expect, and I really have enjoyed the messages in the book are brilliant. Same with the Hush Tarot, which ended up becoming like a shadow working deck for me. And this one's much the same, but this is really kind of deep perspectives, and it doesn't really follow the system. The meanings to the cards are different. However, all of these cards, because they have the names on them, you can use them and read them as you would a normal system. So that's that one. And then we have the Sweet Twilight, the Hierophant here. You know, it's a bit different. She's kind of like, it's almost like she's learning from spying, seeing what's going on. But yeah, that's, however, he clearly knows there's somebody there. The cat knows there's somebody there. It's almost like, you know, preaching to the empty space, although you know that you're actually telling someone what's going on. So those are the Hierophants. The next one out is for the H's is the Hanged Man. So I start this side and we'll come back. So our Hanged Man here, we have a little Hanged Man there and we have one here. I just like the fact that they were different ways. So this one, you know, he's strapped up on his arms and this one is strapped up by their feet. I just love the difference in it. I love the butterflies. I like the feeling of transformation with this Hanged Man. And there's very definite different perspectives to be seen. It's like that topsy-turvy world. In the Guardian Tarot, I can't find a Hanged Man, but we have the Suspend card. So I guess it's the same thing really. So yeah, the cards, the colour, it's just beautiful. Really, really pretty. I like how all the leaves are falling, and yeah, that's that one. The Hanged Man here, so obviously it's a sailor because it's a Mermaid's Tarot. He's caught up in his, you know, ship's sails, but it's pretty standard. You can tell what's going on. It's just looking at things from a different angle. In the Deviant Moon, again, it's fairly similar. He has his stopwatch with him, pocket watch with him. So you've got your time ticking away there. And his hands are behind his back. Some cards they're up over the shoulders, but his are behind his back. And, you know, he's just having a little think. Time to think, space to think for himself. In the Light Seers, this one is, you know, it's one of those kind of, I don't know what you call them, like scarves that people use for yoga and Pilates and things now. So it's definitely, this to me is more Suspend than Hanged Man, but yeah, she's certainly taking a view of things from a different perspective. And this actually also links to the story of Odin, where he wants to know the secrets of the gods, so he hangs himself from a tree for as long as it takes, basically until he's near death, and then the runes appear beneath him, and that's the wisdom that he was seeking. So this is very much, to me, bringing in that story. So it brings in a completely different story to this one, which for me just feels like a standard kind of, you know, looking at things from a different perspective, because we've got the halo around the crown. To me, that just brings out that whole, you know, brain, mind, mental image and message for me. His hands behind his back, he's got one leg that way. I mean, it almost depicts that he's not really too bothered about what's going on. He's quite comfortable, so taking his time. We've got lots of greenery in there as well. This Hanged Man, very different. Almost a bit creepy looking, I think. And not hanging, but caught up. Caught up in what looks like barbed wire or cords or netting. Don't know if I'll focus for you. No, it's a problem with these new cameras. But yeah, so there's a definite difference there. And of course, you know, the face is also a little bit kind of ghostly in this one. So there's my Hanged Mans. Looking at the Hermits, there's my last H for the cards. And starting with the Sweet Twilight. So this Hermit, you know, he's got a lot of, this one I like the colour for the card. I really do like the colour. I like the fact that we have feathers, which to me indicate thoughts and thought processes. Just putting that completely out of your view there. I don't know, I always see this as a little bird on his shoulder, so it feels like, you know, he's got like somebody helping him, guide him with what he's doing. He's definitely reading, and with all this kind of greenery going on, to me it's very much a heart-centered thought process for this Hermit. That's how I see this one in this deck, and I think it's really pretty. I love the little moon in the background there. Hermit for us here. So we've kind of got two people going on. We've got, you know, I always see the birds as wisdom flying around in the cards. We have, you know, one sat contemplating what's going on, you know, the thoughts, And then this person here to me feels like because they're blue, this one feels like they're growing, you know. So it's almost like this one's contemplating what's going on, and then, you know, their voice will come with time after they've kind of found their path and their truth and what they want to achieve. Pretty standard kind of hermit. It almost looks like Moses, this one, really. He's got his light, he's got his staff, you know, he's got his swags, and there's some rocks and water behind him. But yeah, you know, it's all fairly standard. There is a sunset going on in the background, or what I'm calling sunset, because he's got his lantern, so that to me is a sunset. However, you might see it as a sunrise. But yeah, so that's our Dame Darcy. So this hermit looks a little bit more tortured. You know, he really does look like he's having some pained thoughts, a hard time finding himself. And, you know, we've got like a kind of rotten fish here. Doesn't feel quite so much like prosperity with this fish. It feels a little bit more like, you know, a smelly situation, really. And it's definitely feeling tortured. Whether that's from their own thoughts, however, which I often think this one is to me in this deck. This one feels a bit more like hermiting, like maybe even a depression with this particular hermit. You know, somebody who really does need to hide away. They can't take what's coming at them, too much peopling even, you know, they just can't deal with people. Maybe even an empath is what I would go with for this card. This hermit, I think, is just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I love the fact the lantern's here. I love the lit case, like staircase, but to me, they're kind of floating. For some people, they feel like they're sat on the edge of the rocks, but to me, this person's floating. It really has that magical sense, because our own thoughts really are magical, and you can see the light coming from within. So, you know, they're illuminating from within with this card. They don't need the lamp to light their way. They have what they need. They will light their own way. So this is definitely one of my favorite hermits. Standard RWS hermit, there we go, you know, searching his way. He's got his lantern, he's got his staff, we've got some rocks and, I don't know, you call them mountains if you want, around you. And he's kind of illuminating, and he's looking down to check where he's going, really. So there's that one. And then this hermit is, for me, wisdom. Owls are definitely a wisdom card. So our hermit here is looking for wisdom, seeking wisdom, becoming wise. There is like a snake there, and he's got his foot on the snake. And to me, again, that would be like a wise move to do, because you're aware of snakes in the grass, if you like, and you've got your eye on them. You know what's happening. People might think that you're keeping yourself away, and then I kind of see these as cogs turning within that inner sort of motion. So that's that hermit. Last but not least is the death card. So I don't know if you're expecting this one, but this one I do like. I like the different meanings. This one, you know, it feels, the death card, so he's helping her across like a really difficult terrain, difficult time. We do have a sunshine up here, you know, so it's not all doom and gloom with death cards. And many people think that these are terrible cards to have, but they're not. I find them like a really nice positive message with all the transformation that we've got going on. So that's that one. Okay, I'll admit this one's a bit creepier to look at, because you kind of got death popping out of the rock there to see what's going on. But like I said, this set of cards have their own system. I haven't actually pulled this card out of the deck, so I've never got a chance to read it in the book, and I didn't do it before I started. But I'm sure there's actually a more internal meaning. It almost to me that in this one feels like the inner person, you know, that our scared inner person coming to the surface. It could be challenges with like shadow work, because I feel that this deck is very much like an inner kind of guidance, inner voice helping us like go through difficult patterns and times in our life. So that is probably where I would take that death card at face value for right now. This one, well, you know, it's very pirate-like, isn't it? We got kind of pirate riding on the seahorse. We've got somebody in shackles there beneath them. And we've got the old rose and card. I mean, there are pretty standard symbols in this. But again, I still see it as transformation. I don't see it as anything bad. Yes, okay, this person's looking a bit sorrowful, but they can choose to turn that around. So if they follow and take this person's help, then they can move it on, or they can stay shackled and remain where they are. But either way, they're being offered help here. So this one has a fantastic kind of death and rebirth with it. So, you know, so we've got the pregnancy going on. being in control of things or asking for help, depending on how you want to see this one. I can't remember the name of this person here, but I know it's like a tradition that happens in Wales, I think somewhere in Cornwall. I could be wrong about that bit, but it goes or links into the wassail kind of traditions and folklore around here. But yeah, so this is it's a thing. They go around knocking on doors. I'm not sure if it's New Year's for wassail around Wales, or anyway, it's a curious tradition that happens in different parts at different times. So we have that one. Definitely, ultimately, one of my most favourite death cards. So this one has a keyword on it. It has rebirth. It has that kind of strength symbol, the infinity symbol in there. And I just love the fact that it's reflecting from the face, you know. So what do you want to create? The choice is yours. The pathway is yours. You know, we have trees, we have growth, we have stars, we have the galaxy. It's all open and available to you. You just have to know what you want. And then again, back to a very standard card. And there's lots of kind of, you know, fall behind him, but he's moving forwards. You know, there's little people that can come with him. They can come if they want to, you know, asking for help. These kind of lights and spikes over here to me seem to be like a good omen, a good symbol. And, you know, we have a white horse at the end of the day and a white rose. So, yep, the person who's riding may have gone through a lot to get to where they are, but they're moving forwards. They're moving forwards to, you know, brighter pastures. There's people asking for help as well, and people offering help. So, yeah, that's other meanings to this card. So it's not always, like I say, or like you're kind of getting the message, just what people kind of worry about. This one, I think it's quite obvious what's going on here. You know, we've got eggs, we've got rebirth, it's all in there. We've got new ideas hatching, new lifestyle hatching, new processes, new journeys, new pathways is there. We have the bird again. So like I said, birds often mean wisdom to me. We've got a string in his beak, so he's rebuilding his nest. So there's brighter things to come for this young bird as well. Right, so those are my 4 cards that I've started to discover I do look for when I'm looking at decks. However, they aren't make or break, like I said, and I'll still buy the deck if I like the rest of the cards anyway. I can bypass the odd card if I don't like the look of it. If you've enjoyed watching these, or you work with any of these decks and have any of your own opinions, then please do comment below, give me 3 emojis or a thumbs up, give me a like and subscribe, and help out the algorithms for YouTube. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of this, then please do remember to also ring the bell, and then you'll know when I have more decks being uploaded and more challenges. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.